you have a towel or a TheraBand, that would be great. If you don't, that's fine too. Tilt this up. So we'll start standing and you can, oh, okay. Try to figure out the place where you can see both my head and my feet. There we go. And we'll just start with some shoulder shrugs. So let's go, actually bring your shoulders up towards your ears and then back down. And hi, Erica. Are you waiting to see if you're gonna join? Because you're just like, I don't know if I like this one. I'm gonna wait till I see one I like. Uh-oh, you're on mute. Oh, okay. All right. So we'll do some shoulder shrugs and then bring your shoulders down. See if you can bring them up as high as possible and then bring them down. Sometimes we don't realize how high our shoulders are actually up. So if you can like exaggerate it, then you can really let them down and relax through those upper back muscles and shoulder muscles. And then let's just do some arm swings, both arms forward and back. Just see if you can stay as relaxed as possible. Just keeping it nice and loose. And then we can slow that down and we'll do just one arm at a time backwards. And we'll go getting ready for that backstroke when the pool opens next week. That is going to be awesome. I really miss swimming also. Just even outdoor pools and all that. Good. And then we'll switch and go forward in the forward motion with that right arm. And feel free to use your body, like you can turn, rotate your upper body a little bit, just so we can get the whole thing moving. Just move within your range of motion though, too. Good, and then now we'll go backwards with that left one. Oh, bonked into the ceiling. I was really thinking about why my neck and shoulders were hurting so much, and I know it's because I'm spending more time at the computer than I usually do, because usually I'm running around teaching. Good, we'll switch and go forward. But I think also when I'm sitting at my computer, we kind of lose that abdominal strength. I mean, I'm working on it a lot, but I realize then your neck starts to take it on. If your abs aren't quite as strong, that's the first thing I noticed. It wasn't like I felt weak ab muscles, it's just that I felt like more neck and shoulder discomfort because I don't think I was holding myself up quite as well. So we're in the right place to correct that in Pilates class here. Let's do, let's see, if you have a TheraBand or a towel, and seriously, like a dish towel will work, or if you have a TheraBand, we're just gonna hold it right, you can kind of see about shoulder width and right in front of our chest here. Yeah, if you wanna add, if you're using a TheraBand and you wanna add a little tension there by holding your hands inside the loop, or if it's a straight TheraBand, you could actually, pull out on that. That's gonna provide some nice resistance too. So first, before we do that, make sure that your shoulder blades are down your back. So our shoulders aren't up, again, like we were talking about. Shoulders are down, and then we're giving a little tension out, either on the towel or on the TheraBand, whatever you have there. Arms are getting a little tired, I'm aware. And then as you inhale, let's lift that up overhead, just a gentle pressing out. You don't need to kill it, to pull it out. Good, and then you can come back down in front of your chest, shoulder blades down. Turn your head side to side to make sure you don't have any tension in your neck there. And then we'll bring it back up over your head. And then while we're here, keep breathing, keep those shoulder blades down your back. And then we're gonna take a nice big inhale and lean over to your right. I'm trying to do the mirror thing for you guys. I'm not sure if it looks like I'm going to the right. I'm actually going to the left, but I'm trying to help you figure that out. Good, and then inhale back up to the center. And then you can exhale over to the other side, just a little side bend, gentle side bend. And you don't need to be killing the TheraBand. You can relax that pressing out motion now. Good, and you can come back to the middle. Great, and then we're gonna take the TheraBand behind our back here. And we're gonna bring our shoulder blades down and back and you can have a tighter grip. My hands are pretty close together on the towel or the TheraBand. And just with a gentle pressing out there, see if you can use that to help open up your chest in that position. So shoulder blades are down. And I'm almost reaching down towards the floor with my knuckles. And I'm trying to, press down towards the floor and pull my shoulder blades down and open up my chest. Great. Keep going with that for a little bit longer. I just realized I forgot to set that up that way. Yes. Okay. Great. And then you can relax there. And you can set that TheraBand down for now. And on our way down to the mat here, let's kneel down and we're going to put kneel your left knee down onto the floor. Your right foot will be flat on the mat. And you can sort of walk it out ahead and we'll just gently press forward and then come out of it. So we'll gently lean forward and come out. And actually, I'm not sure if you can see this, but I want you to check in with what your pelvis is doing right here. And I'll put my hands here so you can kind of see. Sometimes there's a way where our pelvis is leaning forward here. And so as we stretch, we're not going to get as deep into the stretch. See if you could pretend that your pelvis was a bowl. You're trying to keep that bowl level. So you don't want it to be tilted back or forward. So we're trying to keep that nice level pelvis as we lean forward. And you might feel a stretch here. You might feel a stretch on the back of your right leg. So we'll come in and out of that a couple of times. One more time here. And then as you back up, let's put your right heel down on the mat and then try to hinge at the waist. So you are going to be spilling your bowl of your pelvis a little bit forward here. That's okay. If you need to hold on to the side of the wall, that's okay too. Or a cabinet or something that's nearby, a chair. Good. So gentle leaning down for another 5 seconds or so. And we're breathing. And then as you come up this time, let's stay up and we're going to try to point and flex that foot. And you can feel when you flex your foot there that I feel a big stretch down the back of my leg. It's also a little wobbly here. That's good practice for you, for your balance. A couple more flexing and pointing. Good. And then you can put that right knee underneath you just in time. My left knee was getting a little cranky. And we'll stay here again. Pelvis is level. And we're going to lean forward into our left foot and then come back. So a gentle lean, just to that point where you feel the sensation of stretching in either in your quad or in your hamstring, your glute muscle. You don't want to push it to where it's painful. You want to just keep it nice and easy. And we're just moving a little bit here. In and out, one more time. Forward and back. And then we'll straighten that leg and we'll point and flex. We were talking about ankle mobility, I think it was last week. So this is another one, where we're just testing out those muscles in your lower leg. Oh, by the way, last week when we did the spelling out our names, which we're going to do again today, the next day, my left calf was so tight, I think because, well, A, my name is very long and I had to spell it out, and B, I just hadn't used those muscles in a little while. So that was funny. Good. And then you can come back to bent knees here. And then let's go into the quadruped position where you have your hands underneath your shoulders. I just want to make sure you can see me. Okay. And then we're going to just gently rock back towards your hips and then rock forward onto your hands. So it's a weight shift where we're shifting our weight back into our hips. If you can bring your hips all the way down to your heels, go for it. That's awesome. This is about as far as my knees like to go. Good. Excellent. And then we'll come up to that regular quadruped position. And from here, we're gonna just take that right arm out in front and then put it back. And as I shift to bring my left arm out, let's try to keep our upper bodies as still as possible. So we're not doing any kind of side leaning as we go to lift the other arm. If you can't lift your arm very high up in the air, that's okay, just bring it to where you can. But see if you can just use those ab muscles to keep you nice and controlled as you lift that arm. And there's not a lot of shifting happening because your abs are holding you up. One more on each side. Good. And then now we're going to do the same thing with the leg. So we're going to reach that left leg back. Oops, I'm running into the treadmill. We're going to send it back and you can point to toe. And then you can bring it underneath you. And then we're going to shift over to that right leg. Send your right foot back, right leg back. Bring it back underneath you. And see if you can, again, stay as still as you can as you put that right knee down and then switch to take your left foot back. Awesome, one more on each side. Great. Now we'll take that left leg back to straight. We did this last week. And with a straight left leg, we're going to draw circles about the size of a cantaloupe, which I know you can't see because it's behind you, but imagine that. And we'll go about 8 in one direction. And then we'll switch and go 8 in the other direction. Great. If your wrists are bothering you doing this, good, you can bring that back underneath you. You can use your fists on the mat, or if you even had a dumbbell, these, one of these, you can put your hand on that. It does help your wrist just a teeny bit. Did we do the right side? We did both sides. Did we do both sides?
No.
Okay. No, we didn't? Okay. So we'll go to that right leg and we'll draw right circles with that right leg extended. Phew, glad somebody's paying attention. And then we'll switch and go the other direction. Great. And then you can put that right knee back underneath you. And again, making sure that your hands are right underneath your shoulders, your knees are right underneath your hips. We're going to send that left leg back to straight again with a pointed toe. And this time we're just going to touch that leg down and then bring it back up. Also making sure that nothing in your upper body is moving. So there's no back sagging or moving your upper body. Your upper body is still. And you're just going to lift and lower that leg. So you're going to feel that glute muscle, your butt muscle, working to lift that leg, hopefully. 2 more, 1 and 2, good. Then you can put that underneath, and we'll do the same thing with the right leg. Pointed toe, touch, come back up, touch. You can keep that foot pointed. My foot is cramping a little bit, so I'm flexing it just a teeny bit. 2 more. 1 and 2. Great. And you can bring that back underneath you. Let's go up into that bear crawl that we did maybe 2 weeks ago, I think. So hands are still underneath your shoulders, but I'm going to curl my toes underneath me, and I'm going to come up so that my knees are up in the air. So first of all, this is a weird position, but we're going to stay here, and we're just going to take your right hand forward and your left foot, and then we're going to bring it back. And then we're going to take your left hand forward and your right foot forward, and then we're going to bring it back. Same thing. So we're going opposite arm, opposite leg. This is not easy, people. I just walked you right into it. Good. 1 more on each side. Good. And then you can put those knees down. Awesome job. Whew. A little tough on the wrists there. But other than that, very fun, right? All right, so we're gonna lie on your back and we're gonna put your, let's lie with your feet flat on the mat. Your hands are gonna be flat on the mat as well. I'm just gonna, I have this up a little too high right now. Just adjusting here. Okay, that's better. So from here, we're gonna do some pelvic tilting. So we'll press our backs into the mat, and then we'll roll our tailbone forward. I know we do this a lot. It's really good to check in and make sure that we keep these parts of our body mobile. Now remember, let's shut off those legs and your glute muscles from helping. We just want that band of abdominal muscles across your belly to be pressing your back into the mat and then sending it forward. So it's you're pressing, and then it's almost like you're sticking your belly out to create a little bit of an arch underneath your back, a lightness. Your back may not actually come up off the mat, but just that sensation of rolling that pelvis forward. 2 more. Great, and then we'll settle into that in-between position where there's a lightness underneath your back, you're not pressed all the way into the mat, and you're not tilted forward. And we'll take one knee and then the other into tabletop. And keeping your shoulders relaxed and your neck and jaw relaxed, we're gonna send one foot down towards the floor, touch, and then come back up. So we'll alternate. So you can exhale, lower, inhale, bring it back. Exhale, lower, inhale, bring it back. If you start to feel this in your back, take a little rest, because that means that your ab muscles have gotten tired and your back muscles are kicking in and trying to help. One more on each side. Great, and then you can put one foot down and then the other. Great. So we'll do the chest lift here. So we'll take your hands behind your head. And first, actually, let's just lie here like this. Bring your shoulder blades down your back and try to let your just like gravity, open up your chest a little bit. So if you can, bring your elbows down towards the floor. If they don't go that far, that's okay. Just go to where they go and see if you can just let gravity stretch them a little bit more. So we're in that chest lift position. And now we'll do some sit-up type thing, and it's chest lift. We're just gonna call it chest lift. Sit-up is a weird word and gets everybody all fired up. So here we're gonna keep that neutral spine in our lower back. We're gonna cradle our head in our hands. And as we exhale, we're gonna lift up head, neck, and shoulders, and then come back down. Exhale up, inhale back down. Excellent. Exhale up, inhale back. Good, 3 more here. 1, 2, and 3. Great, we're gonna add something to this. Let's bring one knee and then the other up into tabletop. And we'll go from this position, we're gonna lift our head, neck, and shoulders, and we're gonna take our right elbow towards our left knee, and we're gonna straighten that right leg. Then we're gonna bring it back. You can come all the way down in between each one if you want, or you can just come back to slightly lift it off the mat. Right elbow to left knee, straighten that right leg. Left elbow to right knee, straighten the left leg. Excellent. You can really point your toes to keep that nice long length in your legs. 2 more, 1 on each side. Here's 1 and 2. Great. You can come back down and just hug your knees to your chest. You could take your hands underneath your knees or on top, whichever feels more comfortable. And you can hug your knees in a little bit of a circle action here. And then you can switch directions of the circle. All Awesome. And then you can put your feet down. We're going to roll to your side here. Let's roll onto your right side. And you're going to take your right arm and extend it out in front of you. And you're going to take your left arm and put it on top here. And your head is lifted up in the air. If that feels too uncomfortable, you can definitely support your head there, and we'll just use that top arm. If you are able to hold your neck up, that's great. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep this top hip, so hold your head for a second while I explain it so you don't have to hold it up there unnecessarily. We're going to keep that left hip stacked over the right hip, so they're in line with each other. And we're going to slowly open that left arm as if you were opening a book. It's actually called book openings. And when you get to where that left arm is right above your left shoulder, you're going to open up your body and reach back. And then you're going to bring it back, close that book, and then open. And just go to where you can move and keep your arm in line with your shoulder, if that makes sense. So you get to where it's above your shoulder, and then take that shoulder with you as you reach back. So don't leave your shoulder there and then just reach back with your arm. You want the whole thing to be working as a unit as you reach back. 2 more. Reach back. Nice chest stretch there. 1 more. Great. And then you can definitely support your head under your hands there. And we're going to have those bent knees pretty much, not quite 90 degrees, but just short of that. And we're going to lift that top knee up off the bottom knee, keeping your top hip, your left hip, stacked right above your right one, so that you're not leaning back to open up your knee. You're just staying right in line there. You could even put your hand here to remind you that it's that hip muscle that's working to lift the knee and not roll your hip back there. Our bodies just find ways to cheat however they can to just facilitate the movement. So it's okay. That's why you have teachers. That's why I need teachers too, to show me certain things, because I think I'm doing it really well. And then I realize that my body's cheating a little bit. Good. And then you can come to straight legs. And now we're going to take that left foot and put the sole of your left foot in front of you here. And then we're going to take that right leg, and I'm going to point my toes up towards the ceiling, and I'm going to lift and lower that right leg. Working that right hip in just a little different direction here, or different way. Excellent. Feels kind of funny. 3 more. There's 1, 2, and 3. Good. And then we'll go back to stacking those legs one on top of the other. Left hip still staying right on top of the right hip. And from here, let's lift, keeping your foot parallel to the floor. Lift and lower that top leg. And pay attention to the waist, to your waist on the right side, the one that's into the mat. Make sure you have a lightness underneath there. You're kind of lifting up away from the mat so that you're not sagging down into the mat as you try to lift that leg. Good. Next time you lift up, let's keep it there in line with your hip. And with your foot flexed, your foot flat, let's draw circles with your heel this time. You should probably be feeling it in that butt muscle or the glute medius muscle. Good, let's go the other direction. And you might feel wobbly side to side. That's great. That means your body is figuring out how to stabilize itself. 1 more. All right. Oof. Put that leg down. Good. Now we're going to go, we'll lift that leg up in line with your hip. Point your toe as you bring that leg forward. And then as you bring it back, let's flex that foot. You're going to go just a little bit beyond that bottom leg and then send it forward. You can definitely use your left hand to help stabilize you here. Try not to totally depend on it, but do use it to help you stay a little more stable and help your ab muscles get used to this stabilizing exercise here. 2 more. Excellent. And we have now reached the limit of exercises I can do on one side and remember when we switch to the other side. So we're going to switch over to the other side and we're going to start with the book openings. So again, you could either support your head in your hand if it feels too hard to hold your neck up, or you could put your left arm out in front of you, making sure that your right hip is stacked over your left hip. And then as you inhale, you'll lift that arm up towards the ceiling, and when it gets to be in line with your shoulder, you'll open up your upper body and then come back down. So inhale it up. Exhale it back. Make sure you're breathing here. As you inhale, as you lift that arm up, we're trying to facilitate that motion. Remember not to let your arm sort of flop behind you there. You want your upper body to move with it. As you get on top of it there, then just move the whole thing back. One more. Great. And now you can support your head here, and we're going to stay in that clamshell position, keeping that right hip right over the left one. Feet are on top of each other, and we're just going to lift that right knee up towards the ceiling and then put it back down. Again, remembering the lightness underneath your waist on the left side. Excellent. You might start to feel a little tired in this hip. One more after this one. So we'll go up and down, and then we'll straighten those legs, and we're going to lift and lower. Make sure your neck is in line with your spine. It's not forward of your body, it's in line. And you can kind of use your arm to prop up so that it's also in line, so you're keeping a nice straight spine here. And we'll keep your feet flexed parallel to the floor, and we'll lift that top leg and then lower. Uh-oh, I might be going out of order, but stay tuned. We'll do the next one. We'll get to that adductor one next. I know you were all dying to know, dying to make sure. Good job. Two more. Here's one and two. And now we'll take that foot and put it in front of you, the sole of your right foot on the mat in front of you there. And then we'll turn the toes of your left foot up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Might feel weird on this side, or different, or easier. I hope it's easier. Excellent.
Up toward the ceiling.
One more. Great. And then now we'll keep those legs parallel again. And this is where we're going to send that leg forward with pointed toes and then flex that foot on the way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm in the bedroom.
Oh, somebody's not on mute here. Hold on. Okay. And you're not on mute.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. This is actually happening in my own house, so I can hear it. Okay. All right, that's good with that. And now let's lie on your back. We forgot to do this in the transition, but we'll take that right knee over tightly over your left and hug your knees to your chest. We'll do both sides. Usually we stretch in between, but I forgot this time. So you can hug your knee toward your chest, which should get at that muscle that was working to lift and lower that top leg. Great, and then you can uncross and cross the other direction, so your left knee over your right, and hug those knees towards your chest again. And while you're hugging your knees here, just pay attention to not tensing your shoulders too much, making sure they're relaxed and that you're more pulling with your hands and your arms than you are crinkling up your shoulders. Excellent. And then you can uncross those, and you're going to roll to your side and come up to sitting, and we're going to do the mermaid stretch here. So let's have your feet pointing to the left here, and we'll have that right hand flat on the mat, and we'll take that left arm out to the side by your feet. And as you inhale, that right elbow is going to bend to facilitate the side bend in your spine. And see if you can just let your neck follow your spine, so not moving ahead of your spine, but just staying in line with your spine as you side bend there. Side bending, so good to remember to do it. Good, one more like this. And then on our way over here, let's twist through your upper back to take that left hand to the mat and turn as much as you can to take your chest from facing forward to facing to your right. And let's just stay here for a few breaths for a nice rotation stretch. You might feel this in your hips. Couple more breaths here. And then we'll take that left arm up and put it on your left foot. And then we'll take your right arm and bring it up towards your feet so that you feel that stretch in your right side here. This is a pretty intense stretch. You can definitely back off if it feels like too much. See if you can sit up nice and tall while you're doing it. And then we'll come out of it. And we'll switch your legs to the other side so that. And again, you might notice that one side is a little tighter, like one hip doesn't sit down as well. That's this side for me. It's okay, just keep breathing. And you're gonna put your left hand on the mat and take your right arm out to the side. And as I slowly bend that left elbow, I'm gonna take that right arm up overhead into a nice side bend. And we'll come in and out, inhaling as you bring that arm up over your head. Exhale, bring it back to your feet. Great. And then this time, as you bring that arm up and over, let's twist through your upper back to put that right hand down to the mat. And inhaling and exhaling while you're in this position. Again, seeing if you can take your chest from facing forward to facing to the left. And then we'll take that arm back and put it to your right foot, and then take that left arm and try to go towards your feet. It's definitely challenging. Excellent. And then we can uncurl those legs, and we're going to go back down and do some bridges here. So we're going to go back down to the mat and having your feet right underneath your knees. Your palms can be flat against the mat. And we're going to do some two-legged bridges. So we're going to start with pressing our back into the mat as if we were doing a pelvic tilt. And then we're going to keep pressing as we slowly lift our hips up one vertebra at a time. Our spine is going to peel off the mat till we get up into the air. And then on the same thing on the way down, where we're going to put down one vertebra at a time. So it feels like you're hollowing out your belly as you slowly lower. And then we'll finish with rolling forward a little bit. Then we'll press your back into the mat, slowly peel that spine up as if it were a strip of Velcro up off the floor. And then come back down one vertebra at a time. You may notice some places that you feel a little stuck. And instead of putting one vertebrae back down, you feel like you're going in like a chunk of 2 or 3. That makes sense. Sometimes we have those little sticky spots. So just see if you can breathe through them and relax. That will help decrease the tension. Excellent. This next time we go up, we'll get all the way to the top here. And we're gonna dip that right hip down towards the mat, keeping the left hip nice and strong. Then bring the right hip up. And then dip the left hip down towards the floor, and then bring it back up. So we're alternating sides here of dipping one hip down towards the floor, and then bringing it back up. One more on each side there. Good, and then you can articulate your way back down. And then let's straighten those legs for a second. It's pretty intense on your hamstrings, on the backs of your legs, it can be. So let's just point and flex your feet a couple of times. Just stretch the backs of your legs. Great, and then we'll go back to that bent knee position. And we'll take arms overhead this time. And we're going to take that right knee to tabletop. And we're just going to use the left leg to press our hips up. We're not going to worry about the articulation so much here. We're just pressing straight up into the air. So press straight up and then come back down. I'm going to do 8 on each side. So pressing up, you may feel like you're not going up very high. That's okay. You're not probably going quite as high as with 2, but we're working on that left hip in isolation because sometimes one hip can hide a little bit. One more here. If you're doing 2 legs at the same time and you're not really aware which one is pushing or working a little bit harder. So let's switch and bring that left knee to tabletop. Right foot is on the floor. We're going to press up and then back down. You can exhale as you press up, inhale on the way back down. Good. 2 more here. And now I want you to pick the side. You can pause, you can come back down here. Pick the side that felt harder. Take note of that. And let's do 4 more on that side. Okay, so let's go, whichever one it is, left or right, whichever feels more challenging. I want it like it's not quite as strong. Let's just give it a little extra work, 4 extra bridges on that side. Excellent. And then you can straighten those legs again and flex your feet and point your toes a couple of times. Good. And before we do some quadruped and plank work, we're going to take those arms out to the side. And if you have a foam roller, not right now, but another time, you could lie with your body lengthwise on the foam roller. So your hips are on the foam roller, your head is on the foam roller, and just let your arms come off to the side. For now, we're going to pretend that we're on a foam roller. And we're going to take our arms out to the side. And actually, let's start with them down by your hips. And we're just going to try some sand angels, not snow angels because it's not winter, but sand angels. And with your thumbs facing up or towards your head, you're going to take those arms up overhead and then come back down. If you reach a point where you can't go any further, you could lift your arms a little bit further off the floor. If they're very close to the floor, that might be more challenging. Whichever feels easier. Also, if you reach a point on one side or the other that you can't go any higher, please don't force it. But see if you can get those arms up above your head. If that works for you. If it doesn't, just go to where you can go. 2 more. Great. And then now we're going to roll onto your side and come up to the quadruped position again. And we're going to do a little cat and cow stretch. So with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. We're gonna let your belly sag down in that cow position. And then we're gonna arch your back like a cat. And when you go to arch your back, I want you to think about arching from your lower back and not just your upper back. Like you can do this, like that kind of arching here, but I want us to think about arching through the whole back. You know, when you see a cat actually do that, you can see their whole spine in an arch and not just up by their shoulders. So really think about that. And you can let that head drop when you go into that arch, and then you can lift that head when you go into the sag. 2 more like that. Good, and then now keeping those hands right underneath your shoulders, I want us to just do that same thing with just our lower back. So we're gonna try to keep our upper back nice and still. So it's almost like the pelvic tilt. It is the pelvic tilt, actually. I'm tricking you. And we're just going to do that, which is a lot harder because you don't have the mat to lie against to feel, to have sort of a reference. I'm just going to do a couple more here. 1 and 2. Good. And then let's try the side bend position in here. So that means we're taking our left shoulder towards our left hip and looking over our left shoulder as if you were a dog looking at your tail. And then you're gonna come back. And then we're gonna take that right hip towards your right shoulder and then come back. Left hip towards left shoulder. Breathing while we're doing this. Good, we'll do 1 more to each side here. Left shoulder to left hip, and then right shoulder to right hip. Excellent. And then we're gonna go down. Actually, let's go back into child's pose briefly, just for a nice little stretch there. And you can reach your hands out in front of you. And you can really get a nice shoulder stretch out of this too. It's a nice stretch for your lower back and your hips, but you can also get a nice shoulder stretch. Oh, my foot keeps cramping. Okay. Good, and then we'll come out of here, but we'll stay on your stomach. And we're gonna lie with your head facing to the left and your arms down by your side. And as we inhale, we're gonna lift up head, neck, and shoulders as well as your feet. And at the same time, we're gonna sweep those arms out in front of you. So everything is up in the air, and we're gonna go up and down with your arms and up and down with your legs. For 3, 2, 1. And then you can sweep those arms down. And then let's turn and face the right side with your head. So we're alternating sides. And then we'll inhale to prepare. And then we'll exhale, lift up head, neck, and shoulders. Sweep those arms out in front. Up and down, up and down. 3, 2, 1. Take those arms down by your side and let's face the left this time. So you might notice that your neck likes to face one direction more than the other. Good to pay attention to and see if you can correct that a little bit. All right, we'll inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift those arms in front, up and down, up and down. 3, 2, 1. Sweep those arms down. 1 more. We'll inhale to prepare. Exhale, reach up. Arms are in front. Palms facing each other. Up and down, up and down. 3, 2, 1. Sweep those arms down. Face the left side. Awesome. Now we'll put those hands right underneath your shoulders. Come back up. And we're going to do our little plank progression here. What are we going to do with planks today? Let's first start with, let's go hands on the mat And we're gonna keep our knees here. We're not gonna go up onto our toes. We're gonna keep our knees here. We're gonna send our hips forward. And we're gonna stay in this plank position, starting now, for 20 seconds. So a little bit easier than being out on your toes. See if you can keep your back in a nice straight line. It's actually kind of nice if you can see yourself in your TV screen, in your computer screen. You can see if I don't want to be sagging. You can have your hips in the air a little bit. 3, 2, 1. You can come out of there. It's okay to have your hips up in the air, and I should say that more often than I do. When we're in a plank position, I'd rather have you do that. If, like, for example, if we're on our hands, if your hips are a little bit high, that's okay. I'd rather have that than if you're sagging down. And also, as you lift your hips up a little bit, it tends to engage your glutes a little bit more, which help you. So as you get stronger, you could slowly lower your hips. But if they are up in the air for right now, that's okay. Let's do knees one more time for 20 seconds. So let's send those hips forward in a straight line with your body. Soft elbows. Here we go. 20 seconds. And we're breathing. Don't forget to breathe. Good. Shoulder blades are down your back. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Great. And this time we're going to go out to toes. So you could either do elbows on the mat or hands on the mat. If that doesn't feel comfortable on your toes, feel free to stay on your knees. We're going to try to, I'm just going to face this direction so I can see my clock here a little bit better. We're going to be in that position again. We're going to try 30 seconds for this plank. And we're just going to try to hold it. We're not doing anything with our feet or anything. So let's get ready to be in that plank position. And we're going to come up in 3, 2, and 1. We'll be in this plank position. We're going to be here for 30 seconds. Again, if you need to have your hips a little bit higher, that's okay. Or you can keep them level with your shoulders. Keep your shoulder blades down your back. Make sure you keep breathing. Breathing is important. Good job. Got 10 more seconds. Awesome, awesome. Soften your elbows. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Great. We're going to do one more, but shake out those arms, stretch those wrists a little bit. I feel like wrists are another casualty of being on the computer a little too much. You might notice a tightness on the back of your hand because as we're holding that keyboard position, those muscles are pretty tensed. All right, we're going to do one more here. So we'll get ready to be in that plank position. We're going to go up in 3, 2, 1. We're going to be here for 30 seconds. Way to go. We're finishing strong. Keep breathing. Soften those elbows. We're over halfway. Oh my gosh, I totally fibbed. No, we're not. We have 10 more seconds. Here we go. I didn't mean to fib, just so you know. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Great. Woo, shake out those hands a little bit. Great. And we'll try one more child's pose here, just to let those back muscles relax a little bit. So you can reach your hips back, stretch your arms forward. Breathing. Good, and then you can come back up and we'll finish with what we started with, which is just a little bit of a rocking forward and back. Just get a little motion, more motion in those joints. 2 more, here's 1. And 2. All right. We're gonna call it at that today. That was amazing, good job. I wish I could see more of you right now.